All right, welcome back to the deep dive. So today, our mission is pretty focused. We're analyzing the online fashion store Bayrue.com based on the material you sent in.
Yeah.
Think of this as a quick guide on how to spot a reliable store, because some of these sites can look completely solid on the surface.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Exactly. And that's the thing with online shopping, right? Platforms are built to project trust. Our job is to look behind that curtain.
So we started with the basic checks for Bayrue.com, and honestly, the initial signs looked pretty good.
They did.
For instance, the domain has been active since September 2023. That's not brand new. Usually those quick scam sites are gone in a few months.
That's a key point. And we also saw they have a real brand presence. Active social media and Instagram with over 29,000 followers.
And they provide contact info and email and a physical address, which is generally what you want to see.
All of those things together, they point toward an operation that wants to build something long-term. At least that's the impression they're giving.
But I have to ask, if they've been around that long and have that many followers, why would they risk it all? This stability, it starts to feel less like a guarantee and more like, I don't know, the bare minimum.
That's a really sharp insight, because today, having a domain and contact info, that's just the cost of entry for any business, legitimate or not.
So it tells us they invested just enough to look real.
Exactly. But it doesn't tell us anything about their day-to-day operations.
And that's where this conversation really turns. Because when we look to the actual customers, people who spent money, that's where the story falls apart.
Right.
We found this fascinating conflict in the data. On their own website and on Facebook, the reviews are almost perfect. I think it was a 98% recommendation rate on Facebook.
Yeah, glowing reviews. But then you pivot to an independent source like Trustpilot, and the story just flips completely.
Flips is a good word. The rating there is a 2.2 out of 5.
A huge drop. And the vast majority of the reports there are negative.
So what were the specific things driving that low score? What were people actually complaining about?
Well, the complaints were really consistent. It was almost always about quality control. Things like poor materials, clothes not matching the photos at all, and really big problems of sizing. These are often signs of, a supply chain where the company itself never actually sees or handles the inventory.
Which brings us back to that customer service info that we found so reassuring at the start.
And that's where it really breaks down.
Yeah.
Reviewers consistently said customer service was unhelpful or even just impossible to reach, especially when they wanted a return or a refund.
I see. So the speculation in the material we analyzed was that this might be a drop shipping operation.
That's the theory, yeah. Because if Bayrue.com doesn't hold the inventory, a return isn't simple. It involves slow, complex, international shipping, which makes the whole process a nightmare for the customer.
So what does this all mean? We have a company that, on paper, looks permanent, it looks accessible, but that's completely undercut by just this wave of negative feedback on the actual product.
It's not a simple pass or fail. It's really about risk assessment. The takeaway for you is a new rule for shopping online. Structural legitimacy is one thing, but it's the aggregated independent consumer feedback that should earn your trust.
Right. It's the ultimate test of digital consumer vigilance. So here's a final thought for you to mull over. The next time you see a 98% recommendation rate on a company's own page, what are the 2 independent sources you haven't checked yet? We'll catch you next time.